you need to stop being a autist. Alright, so chances are, if you're anything like me at all, there's been moments in your life when you feel like you're doing a bunch of shit. Like you're really thinking hard about business, you really think about talking to chicks, you're really thinking about going to the gym. You're just like obsessing over something. But then at the same time, it's weird because it feels like, well, I'm doing all this shit, I'm thinking about business all day, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But you're not making any progress at all, and so you sit there and go, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'm doing all this stuff, I did that thing, I watched this video, I read this online, and so you sit there and go, well, why isn't the needle moving? I'm doing all these things, nothing's happening. And so, first of all, like, you gotta sit there and you gotta ask yourself, if nothing's happening, okay, you're doing all the inputs, supposedly, because you don't even know if you're, but let's say you are doing all the inputs, you have to ask yourself, what inputs are you doing? Are you actually doing the inputs you should be doing, or are you doing something else? Okay, like, obviously there is some nuance to it. Like, you want to get your mindset in the right place, that's for sure, which is why, well, you're in this video right now, for example. But you don't want to overconsume content. You don't want to be all over the place. You don't want to invest mental energy into shit that doesn't matter, which, if you feel like you're spending your whole day, every single goddamn day, but you're not getting anywhere, chances are that that's exactly why. You're just spending your energy on a bunch of nonsense. Okay, I'm pulling away from it now, but what I noticed is, well, let's say it like this. There is this saying, where water flows, it grows. Something like that. Like when you water a plant, the plant will grow. And well, there's the whole World Cup with football going on. What I'm noticing from that is that it inherently starts pulling your attention. Okay? First you're kind of watching it like, don't really give a fuck. But then if you watch a couple of games, like you'll see this, when you watch a couple of games, people really start getting into it. Okay? And then all of a sudden, you go from just watching a couple of games as a social thing to really being invested in it, looking for YouTube videos on it, which is retarded. We start doing all of this nonsense that you shouldn't be doing, where you're putting your energy into stuff that will never, in any form of capacity, contribute to your life. Okay? So you need to get away from that ASAP. Because chances are, again, if you're stuck, if you feel like you're doing a bunch of stuff, but you're not getting anywhere, I mean, you're treading water at that point. You're not getting anywhere because all of the shit you're doing is shit. Okay? You can't put in bad inputs and get quality outputs. Okay? So if you're overthinking, you'll just be in a form of hell that you create yourself. You're going, okay, you're doing this thing, that thing, that thing. When it's not the stuff you need to be doing, okay? Like, sure, there, like maybe 20%, let's say we're doing sales, okay? Maybe 20% you want to learn. But the rest 80%, make goddamn sure that you're on the phone making dials. Because you need to stop the hypotheticals and get into the actuals. Like, even, it's years ago, but when I was doing copywriting as a business in the beginning, I mean, look, Of course, you gotta learn copywriting to some extent so that you can do the marketing, do the emails, gonna know how to do it. But you don't need to know much. When you wanna do business, when you're gonna get ahead in anything in life, what you really need to do is the inputs that actually get you there. Which, if you're doing copywriting, it might as well just be doing cold emails. Okay. Now, of course, is there other methods to it? Sure, but that's what I did. Like, I did do a bunch of cold emails. But then all of the other shit, watching Tate, doing this, doing that, bruv, it ain't gonna get you where you need to go. What's gonna get you to where you need to go is the actions, okay? And specifically the key actions, which in the case of copywriting was just reaching out to people. Now, once you've done that, then you can sit and go, okay, how do I do this? How does this thing actually work? But in business, the way you run it is you don't do the horse before the cart, you do the cart before the horse. It's the only way. But because doing it the other way just takes too much damn time. Okay? So it's the same with going to the gym. It's the same with absolutely everything. The way you figure out how to work out isn't by sitting on YouTube all day, isn't by reflecting on the gym all day, isn't by like thinking about should I eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight or 1.2. That shit doesn't matter. Like, it's not gonna be a tangible difference. What matters is that you do the inputs that actually matter. And so then, where does that put you? Well, it puts you in a situation where a lot of what you need to do is just cut out the noise. And a lot of the noise is listening to a bunch of different people. If you're listening to this guy, you're listening to that chick. Like, it's gonna be impossible. Like, and then you're listening to some broke, and then you're listening to someone that's out of shape. And sometimes, like, when I think back to my life, to what I've done, like, sometimes you'll start overthinking. Because you're talking to a person who you shouldn't ask for advice about something. Let's say you want to talk about the gym to someone, but that motherfucker doesn't go to the gym, man. But you're so obsessed about the gym, and you go, yeah, man, I've been hitting the gym hard, I've been gaining muscle, I've been doing this, I want to get big, I want to get jacked. Okay, that's great. It's great that you're obsessed about that. Like, if that's the number one goal, that's the way you want to be. Dope. But what the problem is, and where the problem comes in, is when that motherfucker you're talking to doesn't give a shit. And what's gonna happen is that motherfucker, they will respond to you in a way that's, so, why do you wanna get big? Now, you might not think a lot about it, you might not notice that conversation, but what it's doing is that it's gonna plant a seed in your mind that's gonna go, it's gonna start growing. You're gonna be there like, wait. Yeah, maybe I should focus on this. All because you listen to that one motherfucker. So, you need to stop overthinking. We already established that. So now the question becomes, well, how the fuck do you stop overthinking? There's a couple of things to this. If you look around, you watch... Well, you're probably not gonna notice if you're watching this video, to be fair, not to be insulting, but chances are you won't. Because when you... And specifically, like, when I look around, most people don't know themselves. So you might ask, well, what the fuck do you mean most people don't know themselves? Well, most people, they don't know their own thoughts because they're just getting bombarded all day. They're scrolling on IG, they're scrolling on YouTube, they're scrolling on this, that, talking to this person about that, talking to that other person about that. Now that, like, conversations you have in real life ain't that bad, but when it comes down, just having inputs from 5 million different sources, that's bad. Okay? So that's the first thing. You can't hear your own thoughts if you're never in silence, so you need to find silence. Like, there's a reason why people have shower thoughts. There is a reason why your mind might start racing while you go sleep, because that's the only time you bloody allow yourself to hear your own thoughts. So the first thing is let yourself hear your own thoughts, which roughly boils down just cut out outside influence. Okay. The second thing with that, in order to actually know what you think, is meditation, which go look at video on that. I'm not gonna get too into that, but meditation, because it's gonna allow you to bring your attention back to the task at hand, to the shit that actually matters, which might even be your own thoughts. Okay, so you're gonna be able to hear those way more clear. So now that you're finally starting to hear yourself a bit, you got this thing that you might have heard about that's called intuition. Now, that intuition has been developed for like 2 million years. So, you should probably listen to it. If you have an impulse to eat, now obviously if you're fat, then maybe the impulse is false. But like when you cut all the distractions out, when you really just live with yourself, get to know yourself, you can start to listen to your intuition. Okay? You'll get to a point where you just feel like doing a certain task, you feel like taking action or something. Just do it. You don't need to confirm it with ChatGPT like a reader. You don't need to go ask someone 24/7 for advice. Heck, you don't even need to watch this video. If you feel like starting an online business, if your brain's telling you, hey man, you should really do this. You should, man, you've been slacking at the gym, you should go to the gym, you should do this. Just bloody do it. Okay? You're a human being. You're literally made to achieve shit. That's the whole way your mind and body operates, to achieve things. So you don't need this external confirmation for everything. It's gonna take care of itself a lot of the time. You just need to put in the work, you just need to put in the reps, you need to do the calls, you need to hit the sets at the gym, you need to talk to more chicks, you need to do this, you need to do that. But it's almost gonna autocorrect. Like it's gonna do this GPS thing, where it's just recalculating your route until you hit the damn goal. Okay? But because you sit there and think all the time, you're not moving on the map. So the GPS can't recalculate the route because you're just stuck. Okay? Which brings us to the fact that like making mistakes isn't bad. What's bad is not taking action. You gotta risk it for the biscuit. You can't just sit there. Okay, you can't just think about stuff. You can't just think about going to the gym. Look, you might injure yourself sometime at the gym. You're doing an exercise, you don't really know how to do it. But trust me, if you go to the gym and maybe you mess up your shoulder on an exercise a bit, you're not gonna want it to do that. You're not gonna want to do that exercise that way again. Now you might go back home, you might watch a YouTube video on how to do it properly. Then the next time you're at the gym, you'll just do it the proper way. But in case you hadn't gone to the gym ever, well, it's not like you're gonna know that you're doing it wrong, because you're not even doing it. So, just figure stuff out. Just say fuck it and take action. Like, fuck research, fuck the science. Stop making stuff complicated, because you're already overthinking absolutely everything. So you're just sitting there wanting to do research is retarded. Like, you're just being a dork at that point. You don't want to research. You want... Put it like this. Do you want to research about muscle? Or do you want to actually have muscle? Do you want to research how to bulk? Or do you want to actually bulk? like random. Maybe you want to figure out what food has a lot of calories, but even then, that's something you can figure out by just going to the store and having a look around, actually looking at the labels. And that's gonna be really insightful. You might even have an idea about how much it costs, and so forth. Compared to watching some random YouTube video online by some motherfucker that lives in another country than you. But maybe you don't even have the same food, maybe you don't even have the same type of bread. So, fuck around and find out. And so then, you might sit there and go, but I don't know what to do. To which the answer really is just, it's literally just do something. And if you don't know what something to do, then just sit there until you figure something out. Like, it's like, you'll get ideas. Preferably you then write them down on your phone in your notes app, whatever. Again, don't make it complicated. But just do something. Because the more shit you do, it creates a feedback loop. It's like this. Before sitting down to record this video, like, I did this extremely simply. My script is, I'm looking at it right now, by the way, which is why you see the screen reflecting in my sunglasses, but it's like 6 points. Before I did this, before I sat down to record, you think I knew what I was gonna say? You think I knew all these words that were going to tell you, like all these things, what I did back in the day? No, fuck no, I had no damn idea I was gonna talk about copywriting. But I sat down, and then the thoughts, the universe just gives them to you when you take action. No, I haven't watched Dating Forever, but there is one thing that he said that's actually really damn good, which is raw action solves all. Meaning, if you don't know what to do, you just do something. Just go for a run even. Like, it doesn't even have to be connected to the damn thing that you're trying to do. Just do something, because when you do something, you get the chance to get input back. Like, let's say you sit there. Picture this, like you're doing email marketing and you want to reach out to someone. The way you do it is through a cold email. Now you might sit there and go, I don't know what I should write. But when I start this business, I want it to be a banger, so let me just think about what to write. And you sit there, and you sit there, and you sit there, and now you sat there for 2 damn weeks. Instead of just going retard mode, like a G, and just sitting there going, I don't know what to say, but let's try this. Hi, would you be interested in some email marketing? ? Send. Is that email gonna do well? Probably not, but you made progress. Now you do 10 of those, you do 15, 20, 30, 50, 100 of those. And you'll realize, shit, okay, maybe this line doesn't work. I wonder why it doesn't work. Maybe even ask the people, like, if you get a shit response, if someone responds no, maybe ask, why not? And then they tell you, well, because I don't know you. And then you go, okay, well, how can I get them to know me? You see, but you gotta take action. You're not gonna realize jack shit unless you take action. You're not gonna be able to hone in on anything if you don't take action. But if you're being an autist, if you're thinking, like, how many chicks do you think you can text? How many chicks do you think you'll get on a date if you just sit there and go, I wonder what I should text, instead of just going, hi, or their name, or anything. You're not gonna get a chef by doing that. You're not gonna get fucking anywhere. And so, like, the only caveat to all of this that I would say is, like, if you can find a book on something, read it, as long as it's in line with where you want to go, or, well, in general, like, reading is helpful. And the same goes for courses. Like if you find a course on how to talk to people, sure, do it. But a way that I found to be the most effective for me is you watch the course. So let's say it's about going to the gym. Like sure, there will be some action steps. Download this app, track it this way. Okay, this is kind of the split you want to go for. Okay, you set that up. Maybe you sign up for the gym. Bam, done. You got the action steps. But other than that, you go through the rest of the modules and it's gonna be like, okay, this is how you train hard. Now, you're not gonna research it more than the actual module. You're not gonna sit there and go, maybe let me find another video. I wonder what this other guy has. I wonder what Jeff Nippert has to say. Fuck that shit. Watch the module, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna let it work in the background, because it will. That's how this shit works. You watch something, and then you move on to execution, and you just trust in the fact that any information is working in the background to your benefit, which it quite literally is doing. Like, when the time comes to go to the gym, you don't need to watch gym content in the gym. Like, unless it's a technique thing and you really want to figure out that you're doing it right, but even then, that's a bit autistic. You're kind of overthinking. Because, like, if you watched, basically, this is how you want to do with the gym, you want to work out pretty much like this is whatever the fuck. You can't just go to the gym and trust that the information will work for you, and it will. And so, this goes for everything. You need to stop overthinking. Whether it's girls, whether it's the gym, whether it's even finding a job. Like when I first got into sales, I'm not doing sales anymore, but when I got into sales, and specifically door-to-door sales, I could have sat there going, yeah, but there is this sales job that's better, and there's this sales job that's better. Fuck that. My friend told me about one, said that it's fun. I was like, alright, fuck it. I took action on it, and maybe, like a week later, I was already working for that company. But it wasn't this elaborate, let me research, let me figure this out. No, it was literally a week, and I was on it. And I was knocking on doors, getting experience in sales, which again is like, it's really damn valuable. Like, would I do door-to-door sales right now? Probably not. It's kind of rough. And there are better jobs than that, but it's still really valuable. And you know you can do it. You know, like, just knowing that you can go knock on other people's doors. Because, like, most people are just scared, oh no, I couldn't. Doing that is really damn dope. So if you ever want to sell your own shit door to door, you now know, well, I've done that shit in the past, I gotta do it again. And so then you go do it. Right? Same goes for cold calling. But had you sat there and really tried to be autistic about it, really tried to figure out all the details, you probably not only would have had a lot of mental misery about it, because while you were just thinking about it, not taking action, which doesn't feel good because you're not getting results, but also you would never have had that experience, so now you might have less confidence, and all you've done is wasted time. So next time you're overthinking, just remind yourself, no, you're a retard. You don't need to know everything. What you need is action, and the lessons will reveal themselves to you. The GPS will recalculate the route. That's how your mind works, that's how your body works. Literally, you go to the gym, your muscles and GPS, same shit. Your muscles hit failure in the gym and go, fuck, we can't do this shit, we need to get stronger, we need to figure out how this shit works. Then you go back the next time, they're stronger. That's how it works. So, if you take away one thing from this entire video, let it be this. take action, and what you need to know will reveal itself to you, and then just focus on that step and repeat the process. That's all I got for you today. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.